All right, and we're live. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a special live stream episode, Ryan the Collector Kid, and I have a very special guest on tonight, which I'm looking forward to having a chat to. That's right, we're going to be talking to Theo from Slimehouse TV very shortly. Just waiting for him to come in. But while we're waiting, I just wanted to give everyone a huge hello and thank you for tuning in. I don't do many live streams, so this is pretty awesome to be able to do this and also have the pleasure to chat to Theo as well. So if you don't know Theo from Slimehouse TV, he does a channel with regular episodes every week. You're looking at episodes like Toy Talk Tuesdays, which I check in quite regularly. He has a pretty awesome categories on different toys and occasionally does different things on documentaries on toys. So he recently did the Kenner Robin Hood figures, which were pretty amazing. Not only on top of that, but he also has done a film called Unit 11, which is pretty awesome. I had the privilege to watch that this week, and it was 10 years in the making. So if you can check it out, it's on iTunes, Apple TV. So yeah, give him some love, rent it out, check it out, because it's yeah, pretty amazing that he's made a full film 10 years in the making. So yeah, check that out. It's called Unit 11. Pretty amazing. And yeah, he also does a lot of episodes on going to toy fairs, mainly like in England, Sheffield, where he goes through and finds some awesome pickups, usually Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but sometimes some of the classic Action Man as well. So yeah, pretty cool to be able to have a chat to Theo soon. He's running a little bit late, but that's all right. We'll just keep it going, which is pretty cool. So yeah, he's recently working on a cool episode, which I'm really looking forward to coming out soon around Resident Evil. He's sort of been posting some sneak peeks. So I'm hoping to sort of get a bit of information from him, how he came to make that. And yeah, it's obviously around Resident Evil, which is one of my favorite PlayStation games, and will be recently coming out very soon. Resident Evil 4 have got the remastered version, so I know that he's wanting to get that done before that hits. So I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Yeah, he also does lots of episodes around interviewing directors and actors from all types of different films, so horror movies, action movies. He goes to a lot of different movie fairs as well as toy fairs. So yeah, a high caliber of different things, and the quality of his show is incredible. So yeah, pretty awesome to be able to have a chat to him soon, and yeah, we'll see how we're going. So as I said, we'll give him a few more moments. He'll be in shortly. Yes, that's correct, Zazel. So yeah, recently got into the Boglins toys. My good friend Deke from Freaky Deek Toys got me hooked on them. So yes, I also have this Boglins t-shirt, which I got from Deke as well. So I have about 4 different Boglins at the moment, and yeah, hoping to sort of get a couple more. I want to finish off the Boglins Alien series because I think they look pretty cool. Sort of crazy, you know, green and purple and orange sort of colors. So yeah, pretty good. Yes, my weekend was very well. All right. Yeah, so hope that answers your question there. Yes, my weekend was very good. That is my wife, Shani. We celebrated our 11 years wedding anniversary yesterday. So yes, we had a very well rested time away from the kids. All right. Thank you very much, Steve. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 11 years. It's quite a milestone. We'll be doing a live unboxing too tonight, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Phil. Um, but I just want to wait until Theo gets on, and we'll do a live unboxing together. Um, but yeah, obviously just been spending a lot of time getting the collection room up and running, and getting everything nice. I went to a pinball festival last weekend, which was 3 days, so that was pretty awesome. Uh, a little bit different to vintage toys, but pretty cool vintage arcade. So yeah, had a ball, played some competitions, ended up winning a medal for the high score on Mandalorian pinball machine. So the score to beat was 250 million, and blew it out of the water with 296 million. So yeah, pretty awesome to be able to win that. Yeah, win that prize as well. Yeah, so Zazel says my favorite was the Incredible Hulk. Not sure if I've played that one, or do you mean the Avengers pinball table? Not too sure, but they definitely had like Iron Man, and they had the Avengers Infinity War, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, lots of fun. The classic Hulk. Okay, I haven't actually played that one before, Zazel, so that's pretty cool. I'll have to try and find that. Um, but notable tables that I've never played before was the James Bond table by Stern. Um, favorite toy of the room. All right, Enzo, give me a sec. So I'm sure everyone's already seen the episode that I did, but this is one of my favorite pieces at the moment, which is the Channel 6 van with April O'Neil. And yeah, pretty awesome to be able to get this piece. It's quite hard to get in Australia. And yeah, you sort of have to order it from the States. But yeah, very happy with this piece. They don't come by very often. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the episode on that, that's on the back catalogue, the episode. So yeah, pretty awesome. There you go. All right, what else have we got? Yes, that's correct, Jules. So Doctor Who is my favorite pinball machine. It was the first pinball machine that I ever played when I was about 12, 13. Me and my brother would go to the local bowling alley. We sort of competed in a competition there, and my mum used to give me $2 for the pinballs. And they had a Adams Family, a Terminator 2, and a Doctor Who pinball table, which was pretty awesome. And so I would naturally always go towards Doctor Who because that's one of my favorite shows growing up. And then, yeah, about 12 years ago, my wife Shani found me a Doctor Who pinball machine on eBay, which was going for a lot less than what they are now. So I was very lucky to be able to pick that one up, and yeah, I still own it to this day, which is pretty awesome. All right. So it looks like we've got Theo just has come in now, so we'll bring him in.
Easy, brother. Sorry about being a little bit late.
Let's have a look.
Can you hear me?
Test your mic because I can't hear.
Yo. Okay. One sec. Wonder why.
No, it doesn't seem to be coming through.
Okay.
You want to check your settings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo. I mean, it says it's.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll look back round.
All right. So just while Theo's just checking out the settings and the audio, he'll be back shortly. So yeah. It's always a bit of fun with the technical difficulties, but I'm sure we'll get him in shortly.
Any joy? Can you hear me now?
No, I still can't. I still can't hear you, mate. Okay. So check my settings, make sure everything's all.
Let's have
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Great.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem was. I could even see my mic level and everything. So.
That's all good. Yeah.
No idea.
Sorry. Do apologize for that. It was one of my mic settings. Sorry about that.
It was a Ryan issue, not a Theo issue.
It was actually a Ryan issue, not a Theo. I should know.
Sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
It's a me problem, not you.
But my problem is the fact I'm a little bit late, so I apologize for that.
No, that's fine, mate.
It's a hectic day. I was filming till late last night on this new documentary I'm doing. Straight after this, I'm going out on a hunt. So yeah, not a hunt.
No.
I'm a vegetarian. I don't hunt animals.
No.
Yeah, I'm going out on a retro hunt. So usually I have my good camera set up and things, but I've needed to pack all my equipment away because I'm literally leaving straight after this. So you'll have to make do with my laptop camera.
That's totally fine, mate. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for coming onto the show and sort of being able to have a chat. I know I've sort of been watching you for about a year or so, and we've sort of chatted back and forth. So
yeah, for sure.
It's really nice to be able to actually talk to you face to face.
No, it's an honor that you asked me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I like your videos as well. As you know, I keep up to date with your stuff. I just watched your pinball one. That was wicked.
Oh, thanks, man.
Go to that event, man. Yeah, really good coverage. And yeah, it's nice to be able to do it. And crazy time as well. It's like 11:15 here, so it's like what 7 or something where you are.
Yeah, about 7:15 here. So you're 8 hours behind. But that's what I love about the community. It's pretty awesome to be able to talk to you on the other side of the country.
Yeah. I've just had good new internet installed as well, so we shouldn't have any issues.
We shouldn't have any freeze ups.
No, it should be fine. So what's on the agenda for tonight, dude? What you got planned?
Yeah, so I really just wanted to kind of do a bit of a catch up and get to know you a bit, and do like a live unboxing. Have you got something prepared?
No, I've unboxed everything that came in, and I have got some stuff in the post, and I've just had some really good stuff delivered as well, but I need to save it for a video that I'm doing because it's like a collaboration with someone, so I can't. It's like a new thing that's been released, so I can't open that until the right time. So I've got nothing to unbox myself, but I'm happy to watch you unbox.
That's fine. Awesome. Too easy. Well, I guess if I can ask, obviously you've been doing your channel for a long time, and obviously collecting toys and that. Where did sort of the idea for Slimehouse TV come about? Well,
it's a long answer to a very simple question, because, and I'm also, a lot of these guys who have really blown up on YouTube and stuff kind of started in lockdown, just knew what to do, hit the algorithm right, and then got a real big pull real quick. But I'm a slow burner. I've been doing this a long time, but it's only in the last year or so that I've really kind of worked YouTube out. Not at all worked it out, because no one will ever work YouTube out.
No.
I've definitely worked it out a lot more than it was. But basically about, I don't even know what it is now, like 5-6 years ago, I got the opportunity to make a TV show for like our version of public access, and I called it Slimehouse TV, because at the time we had our own independent cinema. Do you know, like when people like get a warehouse and they convert it into a rave?
Yeah.
We got a warehouse underground building and converted it into our own independent cinema, and we put a bar in it and a pool table and a DJ deck and everything, and we filled it with seats. And every month we would do like double bills of 80s action and horror movies, and we called it Slime House because it was like Grindhouse but like melt movies and stuff. So we called it Slime House. And then when I got the opportunity to make a TV show for public access, because I work in film and I make movies and stuff, that's my main thing that I do. I called it Slimehouse TV, and we shot it all in the Slimehouse cinema. So I called it Slimehouse TV, and then I uploaded them to my YouTube years ago, just because that's what you just do. And never wanted to try and have like a successful YouTube channel or anything. Wasn't trying to hit an algorithm. Literally just uploaded them onto there. And then I started working for HorrorCon, which is the UK's biggest horror convention. At least they're one of the biggest. There's only a couple, and because I was interviewing a lot of the big named guests and stuff for that convention, a lot of like big names like Doug Bradley and Corey Feldman and Sid Haig, rest in peace, all these people. I was also putting them on the channel of Slimehouse TV, and then I suppose it was a little bit like during that big lockdown that we had, I'm sat at home thinking, oh, I've not really got any content to film. I might as well film a few little documentaries in my house just on my toy collection. I'd also been out to Japan and done toy hunting videos and made them for Slimehouse TV, put them on the YouTube, and they were getting good hits. So yeah, about, I don't know, when lockdown started, I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to kind of do this thing from home now, which I never really wanted it to be, because it was always like this grandiose like TV show to me, Slimehouse. But then I reeled it all back and started creating stuff at home. And then over the last couple of years, and certainly the last year, I really refined my style and found out how I wanted to do stuff, learned about like regularly uploading, because back then I was uploading like once every 3 months or something, just when I had something to upload. So yeah, that's where Slimehouse came from. But always been a toy collector, was raised by a toy collector, always been a big toy lover and a lover of all like retro and 80s. So yeah, so cool. It all just folded into what you see today on my YouTube channel.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, similar to me, I started my channel back in lockdown as well.
Right.
Obviously, I'd already had the toy room and that, and I felt I wanted to kind of showcase it and sort of give it out to the community. And that sort of started off as a bit of a project, and here we are.
It just takes a while to find yourself, doesn't it? Like you've got all this stuff, and I've got like, I mean, I've got enough toys to make content for the rest of my life. I can make a whole episode of one random toy if I wanted to. I can talk a glass eye to sleep, as my dad would say. With any toy I could talk about. I could make an hour documentary about any toy I've got. But it's also about like just finding a way to find your style and find your flow with it. And I truly feel like I've only really found my style and my flow in the last 6 months, not even the last year, even though I've been doing this for a long time. It's only like 100%. In the last 6 months that I've really like refined how I like to do stuff. And we're both still learning and still growing.
Absolutely.
And YouTube's one of those things that you have so much freedom that you're never not kind of experimenting and creating things in a different way. And you'll look at something that you make in a couple of years, if you're still doing it. I'm sure you will be. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll look back at this stuff and think, oh, I've improved and refined my style even more since then.
Absolutely. I think it's something that you're always improving, getting better, with feedback as well, you know.
For sure. You find out what people like and things, and what works. And sometimes I'll even like watch a video back and I'm like, oh, I was way too hyper on that video, or I was way too deadpan and not enough hyper. And it's not because I was trying to be hyper. Just at that moment in time, I was just having a hyper day, and that's just the energy I brought to that particular.
And that's what came out. Yeah.
But sometimes I might watch it in bed. I might be like in bed about to sleep, and I'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna check a certain video because I just randomly thought about it. And I'll watch it back and I go, wow, I'm really hyper in this video. It's really fun to listen to at this time. So I do also think that my channel is a bit like Marmite, and I've always been like that with a lot of the content I create, whether it was music or I used to be a big well-known battle rapper and stuff. And I've always been the kind of person that people either really like what I do or it's really not for them. I rarely find somebody that's like, oh, I don't mind it, it's all right. It's usually like, oh yeah, he's dope, or oh, I can't stand it. Like it's always been very much chalk and cheese what I do.
But I think what I like about it is you do try and have a bit of everything on there. that will hopefully cater to lots of different audiences. If, you know, for example, with Dragon Ball Z, like you have that every Thursday, Friday night, my time. Now, I'm not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, but I have watched a couple of episodes, and it is awesome to kind of see that reaction for the first time. So I appreciate
it's a
that.
thing for sure. Do you know, like when you do such like varied content, because in many ways that's always been something that's been a bit of like a detriment to what I do. Because like if you watch somebody that fixes iPhones and you're like, okay, I'll follow him because when my iPhone breaks, I like to know how to fix it. And then if he put up a video playing Contra on NES, you'd be like, oh, I'm not watching that. I literally watch him for iPhone.
That's right.
So having like such varied content can sometimes not be good, because I might have 1,000 subscribers that are there for HorrorCon interviews. I might have 1,000 there that's for toys. I might have 1,000 there that's for Dragon Ball Z. But those twin don't often mix. So it means that you could have 20,000 followers, but you've only got 3,000 that tune in for the toy videos, because that's all they're there for. The other 1,000 are made up for people that's checked for different stuff. I've got a big documentary I made on there called Sheffield Graffiti Kingdom. My city was well known for graffiti in the 1980s and the early 90s. So I made a documentary. That was the first thing that I ever dropped on my channel, and that still gets hits and hits. It's the biggest viewed video on my channel. But I know for a fact that a percentage of those people will come back to watch anything I do that's toy related, and not even a percentage of that will come back to watch me doing Dragon Ball Z videos. So it's my channel to do what I like and I have fun with. But I'm also a bit conflicted, because if you're trying to like make this like a business and stuff, then you kind of have to stick to one thing. But my brain's so scatty and rapidly thinking that I can't stick to one thing. So it'll always be a slow burn on my stuff.
Yeah, I'm the same boat.
Stick to one thing, Ryan, or at least you stick to the toys and a little bit of pinball.
That's it. No, thank you so much. Yeah, and obviously, you mentioned obviously being in the film industry before you started Slimehouse, and if I can ask about your film Unit 11, I had the chance to watch that this week, and
really?
Was totally blown away by the quality of it in regards to the practical effects and that. Yeah, I'm just being honest. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when he's like film industry, I've only worked in the actual film industry a few times. I'm very much
sure.
I've worked in the film industry. I've worked on bigger budget stuff. I've worked on other people's things. Always a bit overwhelming for me compared to what I'm used to. But I mean, what like for Unit 11 for example, that was a film that like if you watch it back now, although it's there's lots of very impressive like action sequences, and there's lots of people fighting on screen, and there's vehicles and explosions and all this stuff and lots going on. That stuff, that part of it, I'm really proud of. If we're looking at like visual quality and audio quality and white balancing and frame rate and all that kind of thing, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just bought a camera. I just literally bought a camera and then just learned on the job. Sometimes I would film a scene 3 times, because every time I got home, the white balance were off, or the audio mic wasn't plugged in properly. We were just kids making this stuff. It was like the majority of my 20s creating that movie. So Unit 11 is not only like, it's a movie, and you can watch it. And if you didn't know anything about us, you might watch it like, why is 1 minute it's really high quality, the next minute it's really low quality? Because we filmed this thing over 10 years, just making it up as we went along. The fact that we got a DVD release was unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe we got approached to do that. That was like, I always said that I would be happy if I ever just went into Poundland and saw it in a bargain bin, and it surpassed that. So I'm happy, and it's one of those things, Unit 11, that it literally tore my life to pieces making it. Like it took over my life in every single aspect, every single relationship I was in ended. Like I fell out with my own dad and everything making that thing, because I was just putting all focus into that and never work or relationship or anything, just obsessed with Unit 11. And it was like almost like a fun thing, but like a cloud over my head as well for 10 years that I had to finish, because there's points in that where I'm editing footage and it's 6 years old, and the guy that's in it died. He's not even. I know.
I saw that at the end credits. That's crazy, man.
Before we even finished it, and I'm editing footage with him from 6 years ago, trying to tie it into stuff that we filmed 2 days ago, and try and make it seamlessly work, knowing that it doesn't look right, but I can't do anything because that guy's no longer with us. So I have to use it, and I have to make it work, and I have to just like get over the perfectionist in my head that's like looking at camera quality and all this kind of thing, and just like get this beast out. So it's not a great example in like quality filmmaking, but it's an unbelievable example of what can be achieved off nothing, and like just being completely obsessed and and having tenacity for this project for like over 10 years. So it's always a project that I look back on with eyes like, oh, I wish I could have done that better, but I couldn't have made that movie now. Like like nobody our age would be able to pull that off now with no budget and all them people and all those vehicles and everything.
I mean, some of those locations were like incredible. Like, they're probably not there anymore, right?
Yeah, we traveled hours and hours and hours to get 30 seconds of shots because there was loads of abandoned buildings and we needed that to tell the story. So yeah, we always wanted like the locations to be a character in itself. So I always wanted people to say that even if they watched it and they thought everything about it was bad, at least I could say that my acting was decent. I made myself. I made sure I delivered a good performance on acting. The locations were good and the soundtrack was awesome and the effects were good and everything else. Whether it was a bit grainy and the shutter speed was wrong in certain places and things, and the storyline was all over. Because originally that cut was like 4 hours long, so I had to cut loads out that made sense for the story. But the acting wasn't great from people and things or whatever. So I just thought, well, do you know what? I'll make the story make less sense, but at least the film not be boring and have it a film that flows nice. But I appreciate you checking it out, man. It was like a big achievement for me. It's something.
Well, look, I just wanted to check it because I know that you had mentioned it quite a few times in your episodes, and I just thought, why not? Give it a go. So,
man, it's another branch of the Slimehouse tree, and even like if I was just about to say, even if I died tomorrow, that's something that'll always be out in shops and out in the world. I've left my mark on the world in some way, even if nothing else I ever did went anywhere.
That's it, man. That's so cool. Awesome. So I guess in regards to when you're going to like toy fairs and that, I know that you've mentioned that you generally have like a checklist or like a mental sort of list of things that you're looking for. What's that kind of look like when you're going to toy fairs?
I say I've got a checklist, but I'm such a when it comes to toys. Like I'm really there's so much that I want. I don't collect modern stuff, but then there's still the odd modern thing, like the odd McFarlane Warhammer figure or something that jumps out to me if it's cheap and stuff. And I mean, there's always a long list of things that I'm after, and a lot of the stuff, probably a bit like yourself, because you're in a country where a lot of the stuff that you're into might not have made it over there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that I'm after, you don't really see at a toy fair. So if you do, I can end up getting roped into paying a bigger price for it just because I know I'm not going to see it before. But at the same time, I don't like paying a lot of money for toys. And luckily for me, I acquired a lot of my collection years ago. I mean, I look at photos, to be fair, from years ago, and I think, wow, my collection's way bigger then. But like everything, like my Thundercats, my He-Man, my Toxic Crusaders, my Rock Lords, all those like lines that are really popular now, I completed like 10, 15 years ago. So I didn't have to pay those prices that people want.
Through the nose.
Yeah. And lockdown was something that really made everything spike into it because people were sat at home with nothing to do and they started getting back into the nostalgia. But it's weird because like just going back to the YouTube channel thing, lockdown, although it like made the prices raise on all the toys, it also like spawned some of my favorite YouTube channels. When I go to the designer toy conventions that I cover and that I'm involved with, so many of those artists started in lockdown and now they're like making awesome stuff. So it was bad for toy prices, but it was very good for creativity.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Luckily for me personally, and probably for you, if you started collecting before lockdown, you picked a lot of the stuff up for a good price, which you wouldn't be able to get now.
A lot of the Doctor Who stuff I've been collecting for about 5 or 6 years, so I kind of got in before it starts skyrocketing. Same with Ghostbusters. They were kind of my 2 favorite toy lines, but I've always loved Kenner stuff, so yeah. Kenner toys are the one, and luckily I think at least with like the 90s Kenner stuff, like you talked about the aliens and things, they haven't spiked too much. You can still get them on the card, Predators and Aliens and stuff at a pretty decent price. They will be more expensive, but they're not like if you're trying to get Toxic Crusaders on the card now. Oh yeah.
They've just gone ridiculous, man. Like I tapped out of Toxic Crusaders. There's one little accessory that I need, and I'll never pay. Like I would probably pay £20 for it at the most. It's the tiny little glow in the dark thing that clicks on headbangers.
Oh, yeah.
I've even got one somewhere in one of my boxes somewhere. I have got one, but I don't know where. I don't
because it's so tiny and small. It's like you just don't have time to go through the accessories sometimes, right?
Do you know Fuzzfang? He's the guy who he's the editor of the Toys That Made Us. I had him on my show before. He's the editor of the Toy That Made Us, and he put up
Yeah.
a post, and it was so I related to it so much. And he said like, "This is the underbelly of being a toy collector," and he had boxes full of like card backs and instruction manuals and little bits of just stuff that you keep that you don't need. And he says like, "This is the underbelly of toy collecting, the stuff that that consumes you. It's like you either file it and put it in boxes, or you have to, or it takes over your life." And that's what it's like. I've got like so many boxes full of random odd figures that don't go on a shelf. He says that they stand adjacent to the prized pieces on your collection, the stuff that's in boxes that you don't really look at but you won't throw away or get rid of. And I've got so many boxes of that kind of thing, and card backs and paperwork and random accessories.
Yeah.
But somewhere in one of them is a little glow-in-the-dark thing that clicks on a headbanger's gun, but I don't know where it is. So that's the only thing I need for the Toxic Crusaders. But if you just decided now, oh, do you know what, I want to start collecting that line, you'd be done, because the prices of them have just gone ridiculous.
I totally agree. Like, particularly the attack copter, like.
Oh,
I had one of those like 7 or 8 years ago in the box, and I sold it at a toy fair and kicking myself. But at the same time, it's like, well, I needed the money at the time, as you said, when you were going to Japan and stuff like that.
Yeah, we did.
We just didn't know. And now, prices are just hiked up. But
it's annoying, but it's and I don't know how you'll feel about it, Ryan, but for me, it's kind of like, I like this stuff because I like that it's nostalgic to me, but it's not just nostalgic to me. It's like nostalgic to an era that I just really like and relate to, and makes me feel something. So I like this stuff because it makes me feel something, because it's from an era. I don't like it because it's worth money. I don't like it because I see it as an investment, because I was collecting so much of this stuff before it was an investment. Before it was like, I was collecting all these He-Man figures when they were like £4 with the weapons, a tenner tops for like a Scareglow. So I obviously don't collect it for the money. It's nice that if I ever needed to sell it, if God forbid, like a reason where I had to sell it, it's worth money. But that's not why I collected it, and that's not why I'm in this thing, and that's why I refuse to like be a part of that. Like, I'll pay a high price now and again for something. Like I just said, if it's something I really don't think I'm going to find again. Like if I saw a Shogun Godzilla at a UK toy fair, never seen one in this country, so I would probably pay a higher price for that.
That's right.
Because it's not something I'm going to get all the time. But
and you know what it's worth, or like how rare it is, right?
And what it's worth to me as well, Ryan. Not just what it's worth. I don't care if something's worth 10 grand. I ain't going to pay 10 grand for it, even if they're like, oh, you pay 20 grand in 2 years. I don't care, because it's not worth that to me. But if what it's worth to me. But if I saw that Toxic Crusaders weapon that I need for $100 or pounds at a toy fair, I'm not going to buy it just because I need it, because it's not worth that to me.
And that's a good thing. Like, I think when you do hold out for accessories or that certain toy, that's kind of what gives you that buzz, that drive to keep doing what we're doing. You know?
Especially if you're in it for the long haul. I'm in no rush to get that weapon. It'd be nice to have it, but I keep going back to this weapon like I'm obsessed with it. But just as an example, I'm in no rush to get that weapon. I'm in this for the long haul. I'll be doing this till the day I die, whether I want to or not. It's in my DNA. I'm obsessed with toys. I'm obsessed with this stuff. It's what makes me feel alive. So it might be 20 years before I find that piece, but I will eventually find one in a dusty box in a market stall, or in a bunch of accessories that someone gives me out of their loft or whatever. Like, I will get one at some point. So I refuse to pay a high price for it. The only time I do pay like a bit higher for like an odd thing is if I'm making a documentary episode and I need like a little weapon to help tell that video, so I can just put it off as a business expense because I need it.
That's right.
I'm doing this big. I've got it to. So the reason I was up last night late filming and why I'm a bit unorganized is I'm making this big Resident Evil Toy Biz documentary at the minute.
It's a good segue. I was just about to ask you about that.
Well, perfect segue. Well, you might have seen me drop some pictures of it on my. Oh yeah, you did, because you commented on it.
I did. Yeah.
I'm making this big documentary at the minute. I built a whole diorama set. Like I spent way too much time and things building this huge city, like a big street set for it and things. And there was one thing that I needed, and it wasn't even it was. So Claire has a crossbow with a bolt that fits in it, and I had everything else, even the crossbow. I just didn't have the bolt, so I paid like $25, not Australian dollars because they're more, £25, which is like 25 American dollars for just the little bolt off eBay because I needed it. But it's because I wouldn't have bought that any other reason, any other time. But I needed it for this video, and it was the only thing I needed.
Certain piece, yeah.
I don't want to show the whole line and be like, oh, but I was too tight to buy the bolt for her gun, so I'm not going to show it in this in-depth documentary I'm making.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I know you were saying that it's been a year or two in the making, trying to get all the figures and all the accessories and that.
All the figures took me years. Like I had them all as a kid, and then sold some to a friend or swapped them for something. Tony had a few of them left. I mean, I sold them to a friend years and years and years ago. So I had to acquire them. And you'll know if you've ever looked at the prices of those things, they also are like really high priced for some reason. Like I don't think it's for some reason. I think that they just didn't make a lot of them. So they're like a more limited toy. So I managed to track down the whole set and a couple of doubles because I got some carded and then some loose and things to help tell the story better. But it was that what took a long time. And then I started building this diorama near Christmas, just like having fun with it leisurely, and then like put it on the back burner while I was getting on with other things. And then I wanted to release it at the same time as the new Resident Evil 4 came out. And then I was like, oh, wow, that's like in 2 weeks. So
it's coming up quick.
Yeah, I spent so long. The two things that took the longest with this documentary are building the diorama and then filming these toys not falling over because they've got terrible balance. The feet are rubbish. Some of them, the zombies in particular, and the hunk and Chris, they don't stand up properly. They just fall over. I spent so much of my time trying to stand them up to get the shots, and then I managed to track down the original sculptor of them. And I've
really?
I spent like a week trying to hit him up saying like, oh, I want to speak to you about this documentary I'm making. And he weren't seeing my messages. Even though he followed me back and stuff, he weren't seeing my messages. I think it was like in his requested folder. But I managed to speak to him yesterday. So I said, look, I'm not going to bombard you with 100 questions. I just want to ask you about one particular part of these toys. Because they're the thing that like wound me up so much as a kid. And still to this day, building them, I want to know like what was the decision behind them. Because I'll get one here. Like this, for example, Leon.
Yeah.
Oh, I've knocked on my mic. So this Leon, for example, this foot, perfect, goes forward. But this one goes out to the side. And I never understood why. And even as a kid, like he stood in this like weird position. So his foot's to the side, like in a position he'd never be stood in. And he doesn't stand up properly. And
That's right.
I asked him, I've sent him a message like, oh, I just want to ask you about what was the decision with the posing? Was it because like they've got this like aim and shoot mechanism, like where they're supposed to aim and shoot? Did you want it to like be in some kind of pose? Was you like pressured by Toy Biz that they wanted them to be like more action orientated or like more mature figures in poses? Or was it like you was really young at the time working on him? Because he seemed like he was like in his like mid-20s, created this entire line on his own.
Wow.
Like, was you just like young and inexperienced at the time? I don't know, but that's all I wanted to ask him about these toys. So hopefully he gets back to me before I finish this documentary because I want to get this. I want to get this finished. Do you know what? I forgot that we was even live, dude. I forgot that we even had people. I forgot.
Yeah, my mate Scott Crusher, he's looking forward to the Resident Evil doco. So
awesome. Yeah, I forgot that we were just having a video call here that was actually people tuning in.
Absolutely, I don't mind, man. Like it's pretty chill. So yeah, and my mate Ed5 says g'day. So yeah,
good day. That's what you say where you're from, right?
I meant to ask how did you find the mystery box I sent you?
Yeah, I loved it. That episode drops this Tuesday.
Okay.
So I'm not. I don't want to
keep it under wraps.
It drops on Tuesday. So when I record my videos, because I have a Patreon, they go on my Patreon 2 weeks before they drop on my main channel. So it's been on there for 2 weeks on the main channel. But yeah, I love that box. I was very blown away by the things that's in there. One thing in particular, and you'll see in that video. So
hey guys.
Yeah, man, I did really appreciate that, and especially sending it all this way. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes effort. So yeah, man, it meant a lot that you sent that over.
Oh, look, it's just something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just thought, I appreciate the channel and just wanted to give you something, that you could open up for your channel and for sure. Have on display, so
it's one of them as well. It's like another sign of like, as much as there's so much like toxicity in the toy community and so many people that are like greedy and gluttonous and just in it for the money and things, that there's still cool people that are in this just because they love this stuff genuinely and just like to share that love.
Absolutely. Just got a question from Steve, if I can put it up. He's asking, is your dad still collecting?
My dad doesn't collect anymore. My dad raised me as a toy collector, and it's literally the only thing that we had in common as growing up was that like we was both into toy collecting, so we would go to the toy fairs and stuff together. Yeah. But my dad was always a lot more of a dealer than a collector. So as much as he collected, he had an amazing collection. He was very much the kind of guy that like collected it because he knew it was worth money and things, and that it was like an investment for the future. Ironically, nowadays he's just given me most of his collection. So this collection that he was like nest egging, he's just gave it to me in the end.
That's amazing.
I mean, he's still got an incredible collection. But my dad my dad doesn't like go out toy hunting and stuff really anymore. There's the odd thing on Marketplace that he'll pick up and usually give to me, but he loves this stuff. He watches like all my videos and he watches all other people's. My mum will randomly tell me like, "Oh, your dad was watching Empire Toys 1138. Do you know him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And she's like, "Oh yeah, he was randomly watching his videos that went last night and things." So yeah, my dad doesn't collect anymore, but he doesn't need to because he's had everything that he could ever want, and also his Action Man collection is like insane. His Lone Ranger Tonto collection is insane.
Yeah.
He's got loads of Transformers and stuff that he's just, and they're just the kind of thing that he's just like got a few holes over the years from car boots and markets and stuff, and just put them in the cabinet because they had all the weapons and then just never really took them out. So like at my parents' house is like big cabinet like just full of Gen 1 Transformers and stuff. Not because my dad knows anything, he couldn't name one of them. But he just picked them up because they was complete and they just looked nice in the cabinet for a bit, and then I think he just kept them in there. So yeah, my dad doesn't collect anymore. But I suppose if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't be the collector I am, because he like raised me from an early age to be like how to hunt for stuff at the car boot, how to like barter prices and things and make deals. My dad would get mad with me at the car boot if like I brought something back and I'd be like, "Oh, check this I just got," and he'd be like, "What did you pay?" And I told him. He's like, "Oh, did you knock them down? You bought 2 things. Did you get a deal?" Like my dad was always the guy who like he would get mad at me if I were like, "Oh," walk into the house and go, "Oh, Dad, I saw a skip up the road." He's like, "Did you look in it?" And I'm like, yeah. "Did you look in the bottom of the skip?" "No, we'll go back and look then." That's what my dad would get mad at, for like not like deep skip diving and things, because you never know what you're gonna find.
That's right.
He's seen amazing toys in skips and things over the years.
Yeah, I remember you saying a couple of the previous episodes that he would often find random stuff like those.
Yeah, my dad's found like literally like 60s Action Men complete with all the medals and stuff in a suitcase just in the top of a skip and things. That Mad Balls bat that I've got came out of a skip. My Mad Balls.
That's right. Yeah.
Super rare. My Fiendish Feet. Yeah, my dad has forgot the amount of stuff he's got out of skips and stuff over the years. When I was a kid, actually, I just remembered that they got like flats. I don't know what you call flats in Australia, like apartment blocks, but they're like council flats.
Yeah, we call them like units here. Yeah.
Well, like council block of flats, but you have the key to like open the bin door is the same key for all of them. So like, and I think him and his friend, like when I was a little kid, like 6 years old, they used to go open all the doors for the bin doors, because it's like a big thing that you're supposed to like just put your rubbish in, but a lot of people would just like not bag stuff up and just push it in there. So that friend as a kid, every time I went to his house, he would have different toys like Technodromes and play sets and things like that, because my dad and his dad would go around to those bins on like a Friday night and just have a look in them and just put their head in and go through like 50 of them, 50 bin doors. It's just like a door you open where people would put all like their wheelie bins to get collected. So a lot of stuff that wouldn't fit in, they'd just put in there. So many times my dad would come home with new toys and things on a Friday, because him and his friend had just gone around all the bin doors, and there's like 50 to 100 of these units. So he's always been that guy that's like, and also like my mum told me recently that all the Action Man that my dad's give me that he's collected, he never paid more than 30 quid for a complete one, £30 for a complete Action Man back, and these are like now like $200 each and stuff. These Action Man, but
that's amazing.
My dad was just from the era where he didn't have to pay a lot for this stuff, and that's why
it'd
be no good collecting now, because he wouldn't want to pay the prices.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so cool. That's a good segue, because I was going to ask you sort of around how you got into collecting. It was because of your dad, and he was, collecting the Action Man and stuff like that.
Yeah. In a way, I mean, it was obviously like started with my dad, but some things also just come from your genuine love for this stuff. Like there's something that's like, Dad, I had a friend and his dad raised him to play cricket, and like he played cricket until he was about 15, and then eventually said to his dad, like, "Dad, I don't want to play cricket anymore. I'm sorry to break your heart, but it was only for you that I did it." Whereas I could have very much been like, "Oh, Dad, I love what you do, but it's not in my heart." But he's on my heart way more than my dad ever was into it. So yeah, I'm an artist. I create toys. I'd say I'm surrounded by them. I draw. I make videos. I'm just a creative guy. And one of my favorite art forms is obviously these little plastic figures. But I always collected. Even when I got like older and I wasn't into like Ninja Turtles and He-Man stuff, I was still collecting the McFarlane movie Maniacs and Spawn figures, Resident Evil figures and things. So, and then as I got older, now I'm more into like Kamen Rider toys and Ultraman. And
that's right.
So I've always, and then it just folded back and went back full circle to the stuff I had as a kid. But I've always toy collected. This is just the biggest that the collection's ever been.
That's it. I'll show you something that I've still got to this day, which is McFarlane.
Yeah. Let me see.
Give me a sec. I got this when I was in New Zealand.
Okay.
Probably 2004, so a long time ago. So this is an original 18-inch Edward Scissorhands.
Movie Maniac McFarlane.
Yeah.
Hard to get without his scissors broken, his little hair
That's
off,
right.
and things, because those things were they just exploded every time they fell off the shelf, and boy did they fall off the shelf. Because again, they were just that time where they were just like engineering toys and working out like how to have them in like these cool poses, but also still be able to stand up properly. Like all my Movie Maniacs pretty much got broken just from falling off the shelf over the years.
That happened to mine. So it was up high on the shelf, and the arm feature totally busted now. It doesn't work anymore because it fell over. But everything else is still like intact, which
and I know they made a lot of them as a room guard as well. You could get Freddy and stuff. It's like it'd be the Freddy figure but full size. And then when you walk past it, it'd be like, no running in the hallway.
That's right.
New voices and things, room guard stuff, which you wouldn't make now. But McFarlane was always just like he was just like experimental with his release.
Pushing the envelope. He's like, what can we do? Think outside the box. Yeah.
Well, something about like these Resident Evil figures and a lot of toys at that time is they were the perfect example of toys that were bridging from like a kid's toy to an adult toy, which is why you would get like Spawn figures that were marketed to adults, but some of them had like missile firing projectile weapons, like these Resident Evil figures. Resident Evil figures were catered to adults because it's an R-rated game, but still had like action features where they'll do a little aim and shoot mechanism, or they've got a projectile that'll fire. Which
the zombies
tells that tells you it's a kid's toy. And another example of that was the Masters of the Universe 2002 releases, because they were like really high-end made figures, marketed to kids, projectile weapons, but the people that mostly wanted to buy them a lot of the time were the people that remembered Masters of the Universe as a kid. So it was like a weird time for figures that they were kind of marketed to adults, but also kind of marketed to kids, and we don't really know, so we're just going to try and like hit both markets. And now, if McFarlane or NECA or whatever release something, it's adult collectors, it's for adults. You would get a Predator now, at least to my knowledge, that has like a missile firing spring and a light in it, and like a laser light and things. And you'd get glow in the dark maybe, but other than that, they're catered to adults. You know what I mean? So it's a weird, it's a weird time. Then that I really do like. It's interesting when you look back at those toys because they was like stuck in weird limbo.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still have flashbacks of primary school. My friend got the Terminator 2 Kenner figure. I think it was the Arnold Schwarzenegger one where the shoulders would go down and then the shoulder blades would like projectile out.
That's the right. Yeah, he's got like some weird gear on, like black leather.
That's right. I had no idea what it was, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to check this out?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's just like fired it right on my head. I was like, "Oh." But they're things that you remember, right? So
yeah.
I've still got the figure today, so yeah,
it's
good.
So you've got something to unbox?
Yeah, let's crack on with that. So I got this about a week or two ago. Off Facebook, actually. It was like a Facebook auction, like live auction.
Okay.
And I find sometimes, I don't know if you've bought stuff off Facebook auctions, but sometimes you can get pretty good bargain.
I haven't bought anything myself, really, but I watch some of them sometimes, and I'm like, that's a really good deal. Like, I've got a friend in Texas who does auctions live, and he's got like the biggest collection in America, as far as I'm concerned, this guy. And he some of the stuff that he sells goes for crazy cheap. But because he's in Texas, I don't really get anything because once you've put like £20 postage and £20 import fee, I'm paying like 40 quid extra on what he's selling. So I don't really bother.
It's not worth it, right? Yeah.
Oh, no. But, sometimes I'm like, boy, like some of this stuff's really, really cheap that goes on Facebook because it's not
Absolutely.
I sometimes think, why are you not doing it on eBay? But maybe it's just easier to do it there rather than do the fees and people say that they didn't arrive and things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll crack this open. We'll have
do you know what's in it?
I do.
Okay.
But that's always a nice surprise, you know.
What era are we talking?
90s.
Okay. Late 90s, early 90s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s, okay.
Hasbro.
Yeah. Early 90s Hasbro.
Could be Hasbro.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. That's correct. Yeah. All right. So.
And you're a pretty varied collector as well, so you like lots.
I am. Yeah. I said I started off collecting Ghostbusters and Doctor Who, and then as I started getting to know other people through YouTube and the community, like people like Scott Crusher, he has a big collection of Turtles and WWF wrestling, and so I kind of got bitten by the turtle bug about a year ago, and then obviously that led into Toxic Crusaders because I used to have that line, and so whenever there's like something that's kind of cheap or something that I think I can sort of start, I kind of have a look. So I don't have these yet, but there's the Bucky O'Hare figures.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. So that's Toe. Missing something there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
He's missing his arm, his hand.
Yeah. So I got a good deal on these. So
Bucky O'Hare's.
What's that? Sorry.
Is that a new focus for you? A new collection?
Yeah. I'm collecting Bucky O'Hare now. So we got this guy here.
Oh yeah, love that guy.
Yeah.
This is another one that I did a documentary on, like like in the early days of working out how I wanted to do them when it was in lockdown. And it was one of them as well. At the time when I was doing it, I didn't have half of the weapons. It was in storage and things, but I just did it anyway. And then after, found out loads more weapons for it. So I've probably got some doubles. I'll put you a parcel together at some point.
Sure.
I'll see what weapons and things you need. Because the only thing I don't have from that entire line are the little glasses that fit on Willie DeWitt. Other than that, I got everything. So I'll get you some doubles together of I don't know if I've got doubles of toys, but I've definitely got doubles of weapons.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. No worries. That'd be awesome. And obviously we've got Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah,
I think he's missing his ears, but as I said, I kind of got these for like $10-15 each. So I was kind of like, it's good to get it started. And I was doing a bit of research and noticed that it wasn't actually quite a big toy line.
It isn't. You can still pick them up pretty cheap. They're another one of them that's kind of going under the radar. I'm not quite sure why, and I'm not quite sure how long that'll be. But for now, at least, they are going under the radar. Bucky O'Hare.
I tell you though, boy, do the vehicles go for pretty
did they
quite
really?
a bit. Yeah, I know. I was looking at the big Toad vehicle.
Toad Croaker.
Toad Croaker. And they want like $400 or $500.
No way, really?
In the box. Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
They're really well-made figures, though. Them, I remember. So I took some to school, which you should never do, and I put them in my drawer, and they went missing, and I was proper upset at school, thinking I'd lost them, and then they got found. But fond memories of those kids. Really well-made, like little chunky dudes, man. Yeah,
pretty awesome. And then we've got
Deadeye. Yeah, that's my guy.
Dude. And he's actually got the weapon, so I'm happy I've got that. So
that's not his weapon. That goes to a.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's Alligator's weapon, but
right.
He's still Bucky O'Hare. He should have four guns, 4 pistols.
Yeah, and then is there something that probably goes in the back there?
Yeah,
like a backpack or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking over at mine now. I'll have a look at what spares I've got for you.
Thanks, man. So there you go. That was the mystery surprise Bucky O'Hare figures. There you go.
Do you know what? I don't think he does have a backpack. I should know this, but I'm tired. I've only just woke up, and I will just have a look for you now. I don't know. He doesn't have a backpack. He has four weapons. They all have those holes in the back, but the only one that actually has the backpack is Blinky.
Okay.
He just has a hole in his back for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they were going to introduce a backpack later on. There were so many toys in that line that never got made. There was like a whole range of them that never got made, like Rumblebee and things, and loads of toys that didn't get finished. So maybe maybe it was down the line. He was supposed to have a weapons pack or something. Blue Harvest Toys, hello there. Shouts to Blue Harvest Toys.
Going. Yeah, no, that's cool. What's my mate say? Bucky no ears.
There's no line. You know me, I'd be making some new ones out of green stuff, man. If I can't track that stuff down, I'll be sat making new ones.
That's it.
Making some little robot ears. Yeah, do you know, like with the Toxic Crusaders as well? Something else that I don't have that I just remembered is that I never have the pipes for the Radiation Ranger because they're so hard to get. So I got my mate to make me some repro ones in glow in the dark just so that he had some, and they kind of look better than the original ones, or just
that's so cool.
The glow in the dark accessory. So I'm all for that as well. Like, I'm all for repro parts and things. You know, I think life's too short to spend years and years trying to hunt down
megabucks and trying to get one specific thing.
Yeah, if you can get a repro part. I know a lot of people have like repro parts on the Star Wars figures and things. I think if you had a vintage car and it needed a new steering wheel, you would happy get a repro steering wheel if it was the same. Just to do up the car. So I don't think there's any problem in like maintaining these toys in that way, because
absolutely,
I would rather my Buckyaware have repro parts than not have anything.
That's it. Yeah, it's a good segue. Obviously, I know you have been getting into using the 3D printer lately and making your own toys and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and the episode around the mushrooms and that.
Yeah, I'll show you them. They're here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some stuff I can't show you yet, but these ones I can.
No, that's cool.
These ones I can for sure.
Do a bit of Theo flex.
Yeah, man. Even though these aren't for sale or anything, I just made
them.
No. People have asked me, like, am I selling them? And maybe I will at some point. I've got a figure that I am selling that I've been making with a well-known toy designer that is hopefully going to be like showing it off at the start of next month. But this was just like a little example of me making like my own toy on the channel, because I always talk about doing it but never actually showed anything. So this is the 3D blank of him.
Oh, that's so cool.
Crush Room. And these arms are just simple pegs. The actual toys I make have like actual arms.
Yeah.
But he has that's not even his weapon. That's a weapon for
a different one.
Supposed to show. But yeah, he has that little club for the painted one. But he all moves. I think if I was going to do the one that can sell, I'd make it so this takes off and on, just because it'd be easier to mold. But thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's Crush Room. I wanted him to feel like a Playmates Ninja Turtles figure that was never finished.
Yeah.
And I really, really like this guy. So yeah,
I really liked how you went with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style, then the McFarlane style, and then just the original.
The McFarlane one is there. So yeah, that's like a bit more like he would look like he would be like one of the henchmen of Violator the Clown.
That's right.
And then you've got a Playmates looking one. So that's me just learning how to 3D print. I'm actually buying a better 3D printer today. I'm buying it off someone.
Awesome.
A bigger one, just so I can print stuff better and can have two going at the same time. Because like for one of those, it took like 8 hours for his body and 8 hours for his arms and his weapon. That's like 16 hours of straight printing, and also they can fail. They can stop working.
That's right.
You can get like 5-6 hours in, and then you look and it's fell off the plate because it wasn't adhered. It didn't adhere properly. They didn't have enough supports. Yeah. And like I say in that video, I've wanted to throw this machine out the window like 100 times, learning how to work it. There were literally points where I was just like, this just does not work. I've done everything. I don't understand why it will not work. Like maybe this is just not the medium for me. But I stuck with it, and then got better and better to a point that now I'm like, I can sculpt something and I can bang it out on the 3D printer. And moving forward this year with my channel, I want to do a lot more toy making stuff. I've spent a couple of years like talking about everybody else's toys, but I want to make more of my own stuff. I want to do more crafting, diorama remakes and customs and things on the channel, because there's 100 toy channels. There's 100 toy channels. And so it's nice to be able to, if you've got like a particular skill that you do that you can bring to it as well, to make it a bit
showcase
different.
Yeah.
Well, look at you, man. You showed me this pinball machine that you've made. There could be 100 channels reviewing pinball machines, but there's not going to be that many that actually can make their own pinball machine as well as look at others. And that's where you've got like your leg up on the world in that way. So I like to think that because I'm a toy designer and a creative and I've got these skills, yes, I'm a toy collector, but I can also make stuff. And a lot of the time, I'll be reviewing a toy, and I'm like, I would have made this way better. Like, I would have had a much better weapon in his hand and things. Whether that was down to like the limitations of the time, I don't know. But like sometimes you can be like watching a film and you'll see an effect, and I think, I could have done that effect better. I would have done it this way. And
absolutely.
And it's all right thinking that, but so I'd actually like to show that as well, and also do a bit more of that where it's like, I want to create a figure that was never made. Maybe there was like someone from Toxic Crusaders that was in one episode, but they never made a toy of it. Okay, I'll do an episode making that as a toy to add to my collection, and that kind of thing that just makes my channel a little bit different. And
it's like a one-off piece that you've made. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, I would like to make some of them eventually. I've even bought all the equipment to make my own toys. I just need to start small, making caches and little things because I'm not ready to cast anything big like that yet. But don't know if I get there, then I will, if I can make those.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could spend as long painting it because I spent ages painting that one and every little tiny minute detail. But if you look a lot of these old toys, they were just painted really quick and bashed out. So
that's right.
I'll add to it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had a crack at making some custom TARDISes behind me, and those ones have had a lot of hits on my channel. So I always like sort of making reaction videos or custom videos as well. So I've got a couple of ideas coming up, and obviously good segue into your challenge around the Avatar vehicle. Yeah.
Well, just before we get to that, I'll also tell you something else that my dad's got in his collection. He has a full-size TARDIS that I got him. I used to work at a college teaching film on like that day when one of the teachers was like at university to learn like a new skill for some more teaching. I used to cover his days at the college, and they had a TARDIS in the guard, like the area where kids will just go out and like get some fresh air and things. Not a playground because it's college. You don't play at college. You just stand around and stuff, but sat on your phone and things. But they had a TARDIS there. And I always said like, and it got donated to him, full size fiberglass TARDIS. And then one day they were like, we're going to auction it off for charity. So my dad like just gave him a price that he'd wanted it for, and he won it. So we like had to take it apart, put it on my dad's van, and take it back to his house. And he's still got it in storage somewhere, folded up. That'll be a project for one day in the future. I'll restore it.
Yeah, I was going to say you should ask him to get it out or set it up again. Do like an episode.
I mean. Maybe one day I'll have space on my garden to have it set up.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
It was a full size TARDIS. I've got photos. This is like before like phones had really good cameras on them and stuff. It's like 15 years ago now. But we was driving home with like a full size TARDIS on the back of the pickup van.
That's awesome.
So you was asking me about. Sorry, I got distracted. You was asking me.
No, that's cool.
Mech suit challenge.
Yeah, the mech suit challenge. So
I'll get it out.
Yeah.
Wherever the hell I've put it. This room is like I don't even know where I put it. I think I put it downstairs actually.
That's cool. Yeah.
It's here. I thought I'd not put it far.
Yeah.
So this is a McFarlane mech suit from the new Avatar movie. So I like that suit. I always liked it in the first movie. I just thought it was like a dope design.
Great
so
design.
When the new figures came out and it was on the shelves in the shops, I said, you know what? When that gets reduced, which it inevitably will, because it's Avatar and they'll have made way too many toys for a film that doesn't have a fan base of like collectors like that.
That's right.
I'm gonna pick one up, and there was £50, and then they went down to £30, and I said when they go down to £20, I'll get one. So I did. I picked one up the other day. Dope figure on its own. But then I thought, cool. I'm going to customize mine. I'm going to maybe rust it up a bit and just make it look better on the shelf. And then I start getting even more wacky ideas. So I thought I'll put out a bit of a challenge on my Instagram and my YouTube and just say, if anybody else wants to get one and also customize it, we'll do like a showcase where we show off everybody's work. And there's a little added incentive. Whichever one is my favorite, I will send you your £20 back. So it's not cost you anything. So but it's more about just being part of the showcase.
Absolutely.
Initially I thought, maybe not many people's bothered, but then it seems like there's quite a few people bothered, and I've had some people send me like work in progress pics or finished pics of their finished ones, and they're looking awesome. I don't know if you saw That's Vile on Instagram. He did his one already. He did it within like 2 days. Have you ever seen his work? Okay. He does like really grotesque, like weird, like teeth, eyeballs, blood, slimy, like just mad, like statues you put on yourself. And he's up because you can open it up, and he built like a Krang from Ninja Turtles that sits in it with more slime dripping pilot in it.
That's incredible.
He finished his already. That's on his Instagram. I'll put it in the video obviously when it's done.
Yeah, send me a link, man, on Instagram.
Yeah,
and
I will do.
Have a look. Yeah,
the ones I've seen, and then some people have got miniatures, tiny little miniatures on them, like they've discovered this giant mech and things. And so cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people do. I'm not going to be able to start mine properly until I finish this documentary. So the first 2 weeks of next month is when I'll spend time making mine.
That's so cool. Yeah, I should be getting mine sometime this week, and then I'll film it. I want to do the filming process. So obviously I'll send you the photos, and then afterwards I'll release the process, because I love sort of doing that as well. I think Gotta
yeah.
do it. So.
But you know what? Like if people are making them and then also like making it, you want to make a video as well to go with it, then that's awesome. I'm going to be watching all those back, give you all the shout out in the video, and I think if it's a successful thing moving forward, I'd like to do more of this kind of thing in the future, and maybe just like
absolutely,
we're gonna do a theme. Let's say the next one, I'll say we're going to do a theme. The theme is mutant, and create anything you want. It could be something you've sculpted from hand, could be a kit bash, whatever. But we're just going to do a mutant theme for that.
That'd be awesome.
And we're all going to create something, and by the end of it, I'll do a video showing what I've created and showcasing everybody else's mutants that they've made, and just do it as like a regular little art show. And just make things a little bit different, bring the community in, make people
absolutely.
Sometimes people want to be creative, they just don't really have like a spark to like have a reason to do it, and I get it, because sometimes, like Warhammer, for example, I love painting Warhammer, I love it, and I've got like loads unpainted, and I started doing like videos on my channel, painting them and putting them together, because it was a nice excuse to be able to make it. The videos kind of fell by the wayside because I just got distracted with other things. But if I was doing like, let's say I did like Warhammer Wednesday, it would give me an incentive every weekend to have a thing finished.
Have something to paint.
So sometimes just having that reason to create something is all you need, and then you can create something that you would have never made otherwise, and you're really happy with. So maybe moving forward we'll do more of this kind of thing. It's a nice little icebreaker to test the water moving forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've always enjoyed painting Warhammer stuff, and recently, last couple of years, I don't know if you've ever seen the Doctor Who miniatures, but Citadel made some of the Doctor Who miniatures. Do you have some? Or
I was looking around because I literally had, I think, the Fourth Doctor the other day, one of the old ones. I got it in a box, and then I went, I'm putting him to one side, and then I found his stand and put it to one side, but I can't find it at the minute. My toy room at the minute is a poor reflection of what it usually looks like. It's all sort of piled up here because the table that I normally have things displayed on nice is a diorama. So I've got that. I've got all my lighting rigs and my gimbals and things all set up all over the place because I've got like jib arms and everything lighting up this set. So at the minute, I don't know where anything is. I don't even know what I'm doing with my life right now. I'm living in a miniature Raccoon City for the past.
I'm the same, man. I've got boxes everywhere. I've got bubble wrap. It's just the thing of a collector, right? You know, it's always always
but the thing is, like some people, they have a normal job and they have a nice collection room and they come back and they relax in it and they might play some video games or do a bit of YouTube in their nice man cave, and it's set out nice. And mine used to be just a museum room that you walked in and appreciated it and walked out. But since I like started working for myself a few years ago and it became an office as well, this is my toy room and it's a working office. So I'm always filming toys in here. I'm always got like something set up on this desk. So I've got like my spray booth set up where my homemade cardboard spray booth, and I'm painting figures and things. So it's a working environment, and because I film stuff like this where it's facing to camera, and I usually have my camera set up here, that's one setup. But then I'm filming myself paint, so we have to move the jib arm around, rejig the lighting and things.
That's it.
Ideally, I'd have a studio. I want to save up and build a studio in my backyard at some point, but that's like something for the future. I've got all the toy making equipment. I've just got nowhere to put it at the minute. I got all the pressure casting pot and the vacuum chamber and everything all ready to be able to make my own figures, but I haven't got the space to set all that stuff up yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so cool. I think Blue Harvest had a question.
Nice to see you again.
Around, he was asking you if you were going to the Star Wars celebration.
No, I'm not going to Star Wars celebration, but I know people. I know people are really buzzing for that. It's the first time, or at least in a long time, that they've had it in England. So I know people's going to Star Wars celebration. Star Wars is one of them for me. I grew up loving it, and nowadays it's like such a big thing, a bit like the Marvel MCU and things, that it's kind of just become a bit not too big for me, but just. I don't feel like I need to go to Star Wars celebration to like rep that fandom, because it reps itself now. Most people in the world have at least some love for Star Wars. So I bet Star Wars celebration would be awesome, but I would much rather go to like Toxic Crusaders Con.
That's it. Yeah, I agree with you, because I've always liked things that are more underground and not as common. Same with music and things like that. So
it's not that I'm one of those like, it's not for me anymore, it's too big now.
No, I still love Star Wars
itself. It doesn't like there'll be some things that are going on and I think, I have to be there, man, because if I'm not there, then who's going if like someone like me can't even make it? Like this is for me.
Yeah.
But Star Wars Celebration, it's like, oh, those tickets sold out in minutes, man. That's going to be a huge
100%.
event. It would be nice to go, but I know that by me not going, that is still like flying its coop higher than ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been nice to go, but I've got other things that I'm going to be at.
Absolutely.
In the next 2 days and things that are more important to me.
So my mate Enzo, this is actually a good segue as a question that I was going to ask, was around what was your favorite toy grail? What is your favorite toy grail? I know that's a really hard question.
Toy that I own or toy that I want? Toy grail. If we're talking about toys that I own, it's one that I'll bring it back to a lot, and I talked about it lots of times on my channel and on every other person's channel. The Great Garloo that I picked up in Japan, that was definitely up there with grails. That when I saw it was like, boy, there's no way I can leave that thing. And then I did leave that, and then go back the next morning and buy it, and never had an ounce of regret that I bought that thing. I think I paid about like £350 for it at the time.
Yeah,
I never paid for a toy at the time. I don't think I've ever paid more for a toy since then, to be fair. But
that's it.
I document that video on it's me in Japan. I pick it up from the Shibuya Mandarake. And really want to get back to Japan. I keep hounding my girlfriend to get saving up so that we can go, because she's got family in America, so she's got to do a big America this year. So she don't know if she can do 2 holidays. So I'm like, I want to go Japan. So that's something that picked up there. There's another thing here that there's a real nice piece. This Maruzan. There we go.
Oh wow.
Godzilla.
Is that a custom one, or that's an actual original?
It's a Maruzan, like kind of like a knockoff Godzilla.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And my friend's doing a documentary on it, the Tokyo Toy Bastard, at the minute. And if I can swear on this show, I apologise.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, the Tokyo Toy Bastard also has another YouTube channel, and he's doing a documentary about this figure at the minute. So he asked me to like just say a few words about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's another thing that I got that you'd only get in Japan. You wouldn't get that anywhere else in the world. It's got a hole in the back because it used to be able to put a lamp inside it. If you can see, there's like a hole here. Lamp inside it. Just the kind of thing that you get in Japan that you can't get anywhere else in the world. But I've also heard that in the last few years that the Mandarakis have been like severely depleted, and that like a lot of that vintage kaiju has all been getting bought up. And it doesn't surprise me, because the last time I was there, I was like, how is all this stuff still here? Like, how is there so much, thousands of vintage toys still on the shelves, and you can just walk in off the high street?
I know.
And
wouldn't it be crazy to find like, a factory that's still got everything all sealed in the boxes? Yeah, I know this is something you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
a couple of episodes on your Toy Talk Tuesday, and it's what would happen if that sort of cracked open?
I'd probably faint. That's what would happen. If like something come up and just like depleted the market, if we just found like 10,000 vinyl Cape Jawas in boxes. Would that just like make everyone just pay enough prices for those stupid little Jawas?
That's right.
Regret the money that they spent. I know they're so in terms of a figure that I want, Holy Grail that I want. I mentioned one earlier, the Shogun Godzilla. I got.
That's right.
I've actually got a Shogun Warrior right here. I got.
Oh wow.
That's you need some stickers, but he's from that same line, the Japanese Shogun Godzilla. I mean, look how big they are.
Oh, they're massive. Love the colors on it too.
Yeah.
Nice and colorful.
So, well, there's loads in this line. There was all Japanese robots, but then over here they all just got all from different Japanese animations, but over here and in America and stuff, they just not over here because we didn't get them in England, but over in America.
No, that's right.
It was released as Shogun Warriors. I don't think we got them over here, at least in England. I've never seen them. If we did it, it'll have been like the odd bit of backstock. Maybe Ray Dean, because he's one of the more popular ones. But the Godzilla from that line and the Rodan, I would absolutely love. I actually spoke to someone recently that sold one for like 200 quid or something in England. And I was like, boy, I would have paid double that, man. Like, next time you get one, which will be never, let me know. But yeah, that Shogun Godzilla I would always love, and the Mattel Kraken. And they sound like very generic Holy Grails because so many people want those, but I've wanted them before most people even knew that they existed. I've wanted them for 20 years, man, when I remember seeing them on Google and being blown away by them, because I was such a Ray Harryhausen and Godzilla fan growing up. I met Ray Harryhausen like a few years before he died, like spent all my life like finding an opportunity to go meet him. And I did, and I'm a big fan of Clash of the Titans and things. So yeah, those two things in particular are like two of my like grails. And when we talk about grail, I mean, they're not so much a grail because I could go on YouTube on eBay now and probably find one of each and pay $1 grand for them. Yeah, I could get them, which means it's not a grail. To me, a grail is something that's like so eludes you so much that you couldn't get one on eBay now, even if you wanted to. But that is also something that's kind of like impossible now because everything is available to you. I bet if it's the rarest toy in the world, you could like be looking for it for 6 months on eBay and Facebook and asking around, and you would eventually get one. You just have to pay through the nose for it.
That's right.
Blue Harvey's Toys then said about the Robo Skull. That's a
Robo Skull,
a dope piece, and one that's just gone.
Is that part of Action Force? Action Force?
Yeah, he's gone ridiculous in the last few years. And to be fair, that whole line's gone ridiculous. I used to have all the Action Force. I didn't have a Robo Skull, but I had all the vehicles and all the figures. And before I went to Japan, I sold them all. I sold all the Red Vipers and the Baron Ironblood and everything. I just sold them all at the Toy Fair cheap, and I just kept Kraken and Skeletron. I just kept those ones because Skeletron, I just kept them because they were just the two cool monster ones.
Cool looking.
And I've got I've got some other ones like Carded and things that I kept. But the Robo Skull I'd never even really seen around until recently when everyone started like putting it on the Grail list. Fantastic piece. But yeah, you wouldn't catch me paying the prices for them. But again, it's not a Grail. No. I see one at every toy fair I go to. I think the Leicester Vintage Toy Shop's got 2 in. So it's not a Grail. You could go and get one, but it's a Grail to get at the right price that you want to pay for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As said, what it means to you. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I think I showed my recent one, which was I don't know if you probably didn't see. I'll show again, but
I might have seen. I see a lot of toys, Ryan. I see a lot of toys.
This is the Channel 6 news van.
Holy scoop!
Yeah.
Phil O'Neill, Channel 6 news van.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
It's just a the battle wagon, right, with some extra bits clipped on.
That's correct, yeah. It's all blue. But obviously the difference is yellow. The side door does still open, but it's slightly different. So it's kind of pops open as opposed to kind of forwards.
Yeah.
Outwards. And there's like a little kind of like a little go-kart sort of thing that she comes out on. So I'm only missing that part, but everything else is pretty much there.
I've never seen one in person. It's one I've only
there you go.
So I've never been able to explore one myself to find out exactly what's inside it. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So again, my friend Enzo, he had this one, and I helped him track down a boxed one from America. And so I was like, hey, would you be interested in moving this on? And so I got it at a good price. So awesome. This is kind of a grail for me because I was sort of trying really hard last year on eBay, even just to get a loose one. They were going for like $400 to $600.
Really?
And I just kept getting outbidded. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece. You need to get
and it's in really nice condition too. Like not much paint scuff. Like all the stickers are still there.
Who cares about a bit of a paint scuff and things? I don't.
It gives a character, right?
yeah. Do you know what? Like, because my dad, as much as he was into toys and things, like as a kid, he was also like big into like buying and selling antiques. And back then, Americans used to love when they bought something from England, they added a bit of a tear in it or a bit of wear because it told a story that someone actually used it and had it in the house. And there was like
that's correct.
I don't think it's like that anymore. But Americans, in particular, back when I was like 10 years old, I remember my dad and all his friends saying, and then I remember like watching like Bargain Hunt, and there was an American pair on it, and they were buying everything with like little bits of patina on it because it told a story. And they're like, no, in England that means it's worth less. And they're like, oh no, but we love it. It means someone actually used this.
That's it. My mate's so that Enzo guy sounds like a nice. That's my mate Enzo. So
Enzo sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah,
well, it's a great name. Enzo G. Castellari is one of my favorite directors of all times. So
there you go.
I always like that name, Enzo.
That's so good. Yeah, awesome, man. Well, I think we might wrap up. I know you've got places to go.
A retro game hunt today.
Retro game hunt. Yeah.
Go away to Darkness in Doncaster. I'm off.
That's so cool. Awesome. So we might sign off and have a bit of a chat in the green room if you're open for more of a chat.
No problem. Shouts to everybody that's looked in, everybody that asked questions.
Thank you for everyone coming in the live chat. Yeah. And as I said, again, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, mate. it's kind of just like talking to another friend, you know. So yeah,
always, man, always, yeah. That's what we love.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll sign off, and I look forward to seeing your Resident Evil episode. But yeah,
appreciate everybody that's locked in.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Peace.